I won't pull it up yet. So this is the Baytril. This is an antibiotic, and it is given intramuscular, so that's IM in the muscle. So this is where you would give it, is kind of right here in this back section. You want to make sure you watch out for this bone. You don't want to get close to it. You're going to stay in the back right where this, her nice little chinky leg is there. And you're going to give 2 cc's, and this is once a day. So you don't have to give this again until in the afternoon. And you just go into the stopper, and you want to give 2 cc's. So this line is all the way down to 3. And then now we're just going to pull this down all the way to 2.
Oh,
and that's just from all that water. So we have 2 cc's. And right here, and you can kind of feel it with your hands too. Feel where all her little her muscle is there. So all you do is you just pop it in here, and then you can pull back a little bit. That'll make you, if you're worried if you're in a blood vessel or anything, then you just give it slowly.
Aiming for the subcutaneous layer again.
No, this one's in the muscle.
Oh, okay.
So there's 3 different ways things can be given. It's IV, sub-Q, which is the subcutaneous layer that we were talking about, or IM, which is intramuscular, which is in the muscle. So that's what we're doing there. So we gave the Baytril. So now we're going to get this bag together. So this is the kit that we use for all of our like parvo dogs.
Okay.
So just as we were talking about, it comes with 1 bag of fluids. You just open it up. Just like this here. And then it comes with 3 things to put in it. So you can always think, we gave y'all 3 kits. There's 3 things you put in each one.
Okay.
3 is our lucky number. So, the first thing is potassium chloride. We do put all of it into the bag. Ampicillin, which is an antibiotic, goes all in the bag. And this is a vitamin B complex, exactly what was in the bag that was sent home with you guys. So, in here is a needle and a syringe. And we're going to use both of these to mix up the 2, because they're all going in the same bag. And all you do is you get them out of the wrapper and put them on top of each other. I'm just using this as my little trash can. So the first thing we're going to do is we can put in the ampicillin. Now, if you notice the ampicillin, it is a powder. So you have to add water to the powder in order to make the solution. So I'm gonna, if you look at the bottom of these, you can just pop these little yellow pieces off. And you can pull up, I don't know, about like 8-9 cc's of this sodium chloride solution. And these have little like caps on them too. You just open these. And you're gonna mix this solution. And you kind of want to let go of it some, just so you can let the air bubbles go into it. Otherwise, if you push it down, it has so much pressure, it might spew back on you. And that can be kind of bad. Mainly just to make sure it doesn't get in your face. So you just want to make sure this is nice and mixed up thoroughly so that it can go back into the syringe. And sometimes it takes longer than others. So I'm just gonna pull it back up and get all of it that you can. So if you have a little bit left over there, that's perfectly fine. So I'm gonna just insert that into the bag and push all of it into the bag. Now we are still gonna keep this syringe and needle because we are gonna use it for the potassium chloride. I'm just mixing it up. So we're going to do the same thing with the potassium chloride. And you're going to pull all of it up. It's 10 cc's. And you're just going to put all of it in the bag. The big thing about potassium chloride that's very important is you definitely want to make sure that's really mixed up.
Okay. Is it burned?
You just want to make sure it's diluted. So it's not good to give it if it's like if you gave it straight. Like if it's diluted enough into all this sodium chloride, it's fine. But if it's given really concentrated, it's not that good for them. But if it's just mixed into the bag very well, like that's perfectly fine. Like it wasn't anything crazy. And then this is the vitamin B complex. This changes your bag. Yellow, that's normal. Doesn't mean you did anything wrong. So with the ampicillin, you want to make sure you use the bag within 72 hours, which obviously y'all are going to be giving a good bit of this. I have the paper right here. This is what they're writing all your notes on. So for the fluids, you're going to be giving a whole bag per day. So you could either do half of the bag in the morning, half a bag at night. You'll kind of see too as you look at her where we gave the fluids, it'll continue to absorb. So you'll notice too later in the day, you'll see it kind of almost hanging around by her like shoulders. That's perfectly normal too. You'll just notice how it'll continue to absorb. So you're also given an IV bag, IV line with each bag. Those are, it sounds like the cows.
Oh.
There's a bunch of cows out here too. So I'm going to show you how to spike the bag. So
Is it important that I have gloves, or do I just need to make sure I wash my hands?
just wash your hands. This for the medication and everything, if you have gloves, that's good. I have it mostly right now for parvo because I just don't want to spread it anywhere in the clinic. So one side is for your bag, one side is for the needle. And then you have a little like spike. And just where you were given the medications, you just poke it in there and it'll continue, it'll start to run.
Okay.
You want to make sure you get all of the air out of the line. So I am going to pick the bag up and gravity is going to take its course.
Up, extra blue.
And that's okay. You just pinch off the bag just like we did earlier when we were given fluids. Now you have 2 needles in here, so you can give it twice a day. So you can give half of the bag in the morning, half of the bag at night. Those are your new needles. They're sterile. I'm not going to put them on there now because obviously we're not going to use them. But this is your bag to use at home, and you're going to have 2 more of these. So you'll have it for the next, for tomorrow, the next day, and the next day.
Okay.
So you'll be able to give all these fluids at home.
And the needle goes on, I just unwrap it and pop
All
it.
all you do is unwrap it and pop it on there. I can show you one of these needles. And they don't twist or anything, which these do, but yeah, you just remove it and you just pop, like stick it on there. See, these are twisted ones. That is not. So you don't even have to worry about that. Yep. And if you get confused again about giving sub-Q fluids, I'm sure you could go on YouTube and I'm sure they have tons of stuff about it.
So
But those are your fluids.
The bag, the injection,
The bag.
muscle.
You're gonna have an injection. Okay. We are sending home 3 bags. We're sending home 3 bags. So yes, we're gonna be sending home, and I have it all for you inside. So, and you can get me on the recording too. So we're gonna be sending home Panicure, which that's gonna be treating the dewormer. So that's gonna be treating the hookworms. We did not see any whipworms on the fecal float, but that does not mean that they're not there, because one big thing about whipworms is they're hard to catch on fecal floats. So we suspect them. So either way it treats it, we definitely want to make sure, because those are some sneaky guys and they can be kind of sneaky on the float. So we want to make sure we take care of them. The metronidazole, what's a metronidazole is an antibiotic. It'll help. It's to work more against like bacteria, and it's going to be helping too with, especially with that bloody diarrhea. Aldosterone, which is going to be the tablets that are dissolvable in the mouth to help with nausea. We're going to be sending home the fluids. We're going to be sending home the Baytril, which we already just gave, so you don't have to give until tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
And then that's it. So we have all of those things, and the biggest thing we want to work on is trickle feeding. We want to make sure that she has something in her stomach, and I know I told you already, but I'm going to just kind of repeat it for the video. So the biggest thing about trickle feeding, and it's very important, is that as her stomach is healing, we want to make sure that it continues to move. So she might not be eating, but it's good to, if you have any like syringes, or if you don't have any syringes, we can give you some. If she's not eating on her own, even just a syringe feeder, you don't have to give her a lot at a time. We just want to make sure she continues to keep something in her stomach, so her stomach's moving, it's healing, and it keeps that healing process going. But other than that, you know, like keeping her hydrated, yes, she is really thirsty, but we also don't want her to drink too much water, because even drinking too much water when she's nauseous could make her nauseous. And we are keeping her nice and hydrated with the fluids. And yes, the fluids, are only giving her 1 bag a day, but we can still continue to let her drink. I would just give her like a small bowl every hour or so and let her drink that, even though she'll probably want to continue to drink more just until she can get it all under control. That's the biggest things to look for. You can also, if you have a thermometer, you can take her temperature. Her temperature today was 100.8, which was normal. Usually anything above a 102 or so is high. So right now her temperature's good, so that's a good sign. So hopefully, especially with her being older, depending on how much immunity she's built up already, and we don't know her history, so we really am not sure about that. So hopefully we can get her over this. So biggest thing is, what is it?
End up this sick? Like, she seems like she was someone's pet.
Yeah, possibly.
Very ill. Like, how do you get this sick?
It's a good question. And that's hard to tell with us having no history on her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, what about the fleas?
Fleas we definitely need to take care of. Do you have any flea prevention, or do you need to get some from us? Because we can add that on.
I have some, but it's, for my dog. So
Okay.
I don't have extra. I'm really like a random volunteer today. Like, this is like real weird for me.
So we have a few different options. We really like the Simparica. Of course, it's oral, so we want to make sure she keeps it down. We're also going to wait and let you give the dewormer and the metronidazole, since those are oral, at home, because we don't want to send her home and her get nauseous in the car and then spit it all up in your car. So we'll wait for her to get home, and once all that medication is kicked in.
When you say a little bit of food,
Yeah.
how much is a little bit? Like,
Yes,
Syringe
ma'am.
full.
So yeah, it just depends kind of where we're starting off of with her.
so about
Sorry, they're talking to me. Yes, a new line for every bag we're sending home. The kit, all the kits have the same thing in them. So it kind of first starts off with how long. Obviously, we don't know how long she's been eating, so we don't want to start her off with a large amount. So I'm gonna get you some syringes, but I would kind of start off. They're kind of confirming what was all in the bags. Yes, that's correct. I don't know, I would say like 10, 20 cc's every hour and a half, hour or so, until she starts. But we really want to get her
that I'm awake, or is that literally like every hour?
every hour or so while you're awake, yes, but just continue to watch her while you're sleeping.
I don't watch her while I'm sleeping.
Or I mean like throughout the night if you can. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm thinking about what they were telling me. If like you wake up in the middle of the night, just check on her, and then like start the process again in the morning, and then keep a journal too. We always recommend that, kind of like how long, when she's vomited, so you can tell and go through the next few days. Like, okay, well look, Monday she vomited like 5 times in the morning. She hasn't vomited only once today. So we always recommend journaling, just so you can keep an eye on, between her doing that, you feeding her and giving the medication, it can get overwhelming. It's hard. A lot of stuff that's really hard to remember.
Luckily, I'm very good at that kind of
Okay,
thing.
good.
But
So we do recommend
remembering
that.
things and being organized is my jam. So.
But the feeding part, it really just depends on how she is. Hopefully, she just doesn't like that baby food, and hopefully, you can feed her something else, and she'll like it. You can get her some like Little Caesars or something that smells really good. A lot of it too is, you know, she is nauseous right now, so hopefully once that nausea medication kicks in, if it hasn't already, which it should have, and all the medication kicks in, she'll have a little bit more of an appetite tonight, so that's hopefully our goal too. But I'm going to get you some syringes to syringe feed her. Depending on how she is and the way the syringe feeding works, and if she holds it down, you will continue to give her, you know, if she continues to keep it down, you can give her more of it less times a day.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of what we want to work towards, if that makes sense. Until she starts eating on her own.
It's a good thing I'm not working right now.
But do you have any other questions? We're going to get you a bunch of meds together and we'll come back out.
Yeah, as long as it's written down and we have a video
With the
and I can
picture.
keep a journal of it.